In 2025, after $30 billion in generative AI spending, MIT Project Nanda found that 95% of businesses saw zero return, no profit, no transformation, just hype and hope. If AI is the future, why is almost everyone losing their shirt? The gap between boardroom dreams and reality has never been wider, but the numbers reveal a stranger story still. MIT Media Lab's Project Nanda set out to cut through the noise. Over 6 months, researchers led by Aditya Chalapalli tracked more than 300 public generative AI projects across dozens of sectors. They didn't just skim headlines or count vendor press releases, they dug into the details, interviewing representatives from 52 organizations and surveying 153 senior leaders at major industry events. The result? After $30 to $40 billion in enterprise investment, 95% of companies reported zero impact on their profit and loss statements. Not a dent. Only about 1 in 20 firms saw any real value from their AI pilots, what MIT calls the Genii divide. Chalapalli put it plainly, the technology isn't the bottleneck. It's the gap between building a flashy demo and actually moving the numbers that matter. In a year of historic spending, the main return so far has been a mountain of slide decks and a lot of awkward executive silence. The path from AI idea to actual business impact looks less like a pipeline and more like a leaky funnel. Out of all organizations that set out to evaluate enterprise-grade AI, only about 60% even get as far as a formal assessment. Of those, just 1 in 5, around 20%, manage to launch a pilot, and by the time you reach real scaled production, the number shrinks to a lonely 5%. Large enterprises, flush with resources, run the most pilots but take an average of 9 months to move from pilot to deployment. Mid-market companies, meanwhile, cut through the red tape and reach rollout in just 90 days. The irony? The companies with the most money and staff are the ones most likely to get stuck in a never-ending cycle of demos and committee meetings. For most, the only thing scaling is the number of PowerPoint slides. Sonia Patel starts her day with a browser tab open to ChatGPT, not the clunky corporate AI dashboard her company spent months deploying. She's not alone. In office towers and home studies across the country, a quiet majority of workers have adopted their own AI sidekicks, personal accounts, browser extensions, even free apps, sidestepping official channels entirely. Recent workplace surveys show that while only a minority of companies have rolled out licensed AI tools, most knowledge workers who use AI started on their own. Sonia drafts client proposals, rewrites emails, and even brainstorms campaign ideas, all with tools her IT department hasn't approved and can't track. The productivity gains are real, but they're invisible to management, buried in the daily churn of deliverables. For Sonia, AI is less about transformation and more about getting through Wednesday faster, one unofficial prompt at a time. Global Tech poured $12.5 million into a custom generative AI pilot, promising to revolutionize their sales forecasting. 9 months later, the system had delivered exactly zero impact on revenue, operations, or cost savings. The pilot sat in limbo, tangled in integration challenges and approval cycles. In an interview summarized by MIT researchers, the company's CIO sounded almost resigned. We spent a year and millions of dollars, but the only thing we can measure is how good the demo looked. For Global Tech, the only thing that scaled was frustration. The numbers on the balance sheet never budged. FineEdge, a mid-market financial services firm, took a different approach. Instead of pouring resources into custom builds, their VP of operations pushed for an off-the-shelf AI solution focused on back-office automation. Within months, invoice processing times dropped by 40%. The company reported $4.2 million in annual savings, real auditable dollars, not just time shaved off meetings. MIT's data backs up this pattern. Pilots using externally sourced AI succeed about 2/3 of the time, compared to just 1/3 for internal projects. Yet more than half of generative AI budgets still end up chasing sales and marketing flash, not operational results. For FineEdge, the lesson is clear. ROI comes from solving the right problem with the right tool, not from chasing the latest headline. Executives, hoping for an AI tool that learns and adapts, have mostly found themselves stuck in a loop. Most generative AI systems deployed in business, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, are powerful in a single session, but they forget everything the moment you close the tab. One executive interviewed for the MIT study described it this way: ChatGPT is great for a first draft, but by the next conversation, it has forgotten every preference and edit. We are re-explaining the same context every time. Without memory or feedback retention, these tools cannot get smarter with use. Instead of compounding value, they repeat the same mistakes, making real business transformation almost impossible at scale. Only 2 out of 9 major sectors, tech and media, are actually seeing real business transformation from generative AI. In manufacturing, Rajesh Mehta, a COO interviewed by MIT, summed it up. LinkedIn says everything has changed, but on the shop floor, nothing has. Meanwhile, Pixel Pulse, a digital media firm, reported $7 million in annual savings after shifting to back-office AI automation. The pattern is clear. The winners are moving fast, focusing on operational pain points and hitting the 90-day target from pilot to rollout. Right now, billions chase AI transformation, while only a few see real gains. The lesson? Hype doesn't build value, results do. The next move belongs to those who actually deliver.